Let's give me your way too early Hart Trophy winner, MVP to his team. Let's start big.
Well, so this is the thing, right? MVP to his team. There are players who I think are, year in and year out better. There are players who are this year better than this player.
Okay.
But no one is more valuable to their team. No one, not one. Leon Draisaitl's putting up MVP numbers. He's great. I disagree. Nathan McKinnon, MVP numbers. He's great. I disagree. It's Kirill Kaprizov. To me, he's the clear front runner. He has 18 at the time we're recording this episode. He has 18 more points than his next closest teammate. He has 47 points on a team with two other guys above 20 points. He lost his Robin, who was Matt Zuccarello, who was scoring still only at roughly a point a game for a period of time. His line mates completely changed, and his production was fine. Kirill Kaprizov, to me, is the MVP of the NHL.
I don't have anything to add to that. That was also my choice. I think he's phenomenal. I was gonna throw down Jack Eichel's name for Sabres fans, just for fun. But it's hard to disagree with Kaprizov.
You didn't have any former Penguins you could have gone?
No, I can't. Jesse, what about you?
Yeah, this is going to be a pretty boring segment. I also had Kirill Kaprizov.
I really thought this was going to be a hot take. That's
what? How? I think he's clear the best player to his team right now. What Minnesota's doing, I don't think anybody really expected them to be this at this point in the season, this high in the standings amongst the top 1, 2, or 3 teams in the league. And the way they're dominating in goal and offensively, the offensive part starts and ends with Kirill Kaprizov, and there isn't really like anybody there next to him on this team that can say they're doing as much as him. So that is the nature of the award. That is what is intended for players like this, having this kind of season on outstanding teams. So I think Kaprizov's got to be front runner right now for the Hart Trophy, and I think he keeps it up, and he wins it by the end of the season.
Next one, I'm going to go Norris Trophy, gentlemen.
Norris Trophy. Very, very tight race. Again, Zach Werenski has found his way into this conversation. Shockingly to me, first defenseman to hit double-digit goals. At the time we're recording this, leading defenseman in scoring points is actually Cale Makar. But how your team performs matters in all this, and out of the 3, this guy's team is far and away the best. This is Quinn Hughes' year.
Oh.
Quinn Hughes' year. He's the captain of the Canucks. They've faced ridiculous adversity even before Christmas. They didn't have their starting goalie basically the whole time. They just threw it together with Kevin Lankinen, who was magically incredible. They didn't have JT Miller for a huge chunk of it. They essentially didn't have Elias Pettersson. He was in the lineup. He just wasn't very good. Quinn Hughes is running the show in Vancouver, and he's why they're one of the best teams in the NHL.
Wow.
Yep.
I like that. I like that.
Bad?
No, I'm still struggling with that. I'm still struggling with the everything bagel I had this morning when I had a poppy seed in it.
Well,
okay, Jesse, what's yours?
I also had Quinn Hughes. Steve says it's Quinn Hughes' year. It was also his year last year. If you forget, he is the reigning Norris Trophy winner.
Yeah,
so, so to phrase it like that was a little odd. I think he hasn't relinquished that post as the best defenseman in the league right now. And the way you outlined it with Vancouver, like that's the main point of emphasis here is that he's been the one stable part of this very good team. Everything around him seems to be chaos and floundering. And they're talking about trading Pettersson, and JT Miller needs his leave, and the goalie situation just kind of stabilized with Demko coming back. And Quinn Hughes has been there this entire time, keeping everything afloat, keeping this team great defensively. And I think he deserves to be rewarded for that again. And last season...
It's his year.
No, now it's his year. And this year, Makar's ahead of him in points, and I believe last year he didn't finish first in points either from a defenseman. And once again, I don't think that needs to be the bar that we set the Norris Trophy from. Erik Karlsson, because Adam's going to love this, Erik Karlsson, when he won the Norris Trophy, probably didn't really deserve it that year because defensively he was a disaster. But that 100 points round number is what swayed the voters. And this year, I don't think you can look just at the points. Quinn Hughes, even though he's back in the points race, deserves the Norris Trophy.
Well, I mentioned Demko being out of the lineup, Miller being out of the lineup. How about the dude who was acquired to be Quinn Hughes' defense partner?
Yes.
And Philip Hronek. Like, the fact that he's still doing this is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I'm going with Cale Makar. And I go
not a bad choice.
I go with Cale Makar because when the Colorado Avalanche had like 9 guys injured.
And just to correct myself, Quinn Hughes did lead defenseman in points last year, had 92. Cale Makar had 90.
Well, there you go.
Right there, a little 2-point difference.
I'm just looking at my fantasy team right now, which Cale Makar was my first pick. And this guy has 38 points in 33 games as of this recording. And so you look at that kind of point production from a guy who lost just about all the finishers in his lineup, and they were already sort of limited. You have guys on long-term injuries. I'm thinking of guys like Drouin, who still isn't back.
Yep.
And they were able to survive bad goaltending, tons of injuries, and Mikko Rantanen and Nathan MacKinnon basically saved their season. If they're going to have a season, it's because of those 3 guys.
No Landeskog.
Yeah.
I feel like that matters. Someone posted something today that Landeskog's been out so long that he was never actually a teammate with Alexander Georgiev.
That's nuts.
That's insane.
It's a crazy stat.
Insane. I had no idea it'd been that long.
Does it ruin your argument that Quinn Hughes right now, as of this recording, is on a better points per game scale than Cale Makar?
I still think
who's played 3 more games.
I think Cale Makar has his team's gone through more adversity and he's handled it better because there are some adverse times here in Vancouver. And not that Quinn's a problem. He's not. But he's actually the solution to the problem.
The Canucks' problem was they didn't have their starting goalie. The Avalanche's problem is they didn't have any goalie.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that there's a little bit of tensity in the Vancouver dressing room, a little bit of drama. But like they'll figure that out. I love Quinn Hughes. If he wins, great for him.
Doesn't sound like it.
Cale Makar is my pick.
Yeah, you're a piece of crap.
Sounds like you hate that, man.
Hate him. All right. Here's an interesting one. Jack Adams.
Really struggled with this one. To me, there's 3. There's a bunch of teams that didn't make the playoffs last year that are some of the best teams in the league.
Yep.
And usually I would defer to those coaches. For me, I'm going to go with the guy whose team made the playoffs last year and they're elite this year. Spencer Carberry.
Great.
The Washington Capitals are fantastic. They're improved in basically every regard. And they dialed back the clock with Ovechkin, lost him, and didn't even break stride. Like, this is one of the best teams in the NHL, and they have not changed a whole hell of a lot. They did some things on defense that definitely helped for sure. Like Logan Thompson was their big swing in net. I think Carberry is doing something that a lot of coaches struggle with, and that is icing the best team possible game in and game out, and also developing young players on the fly. So for me, it's Spencer Carberry.
Same thing for every reason that Steve mentioned. And I say Spencer Carberry because the Washington Capitals are playing a game I've never seen them play before, which is
hockey.
We're going to fight for every puck all the time till it gets annoying. That's the weirdest thing about the Capitals, right? Is like they used to be a little bit more free flow, defer to Ovechkin. They had their stars, Kuznetsov, Backstrom, all those guys. John Carlson, who's still there. And who was the guy before it? Green? Well, who was the guy that scored 30 goals for them?
Mike Green?
Mike Green, yeah. They're not that anymore, and they've been able to take some risks. Like the Pierre-Luc Dubois deal, Spencer Carberry deserves to a ton of credit for the way Pierre-Luc Dubois has played this season. Not that Pierre-Luc
21 points in 30 games.
That is a salvageable contract.
Yep.
And a salvageable player, and he's got a role, right? They're not, flipping him to the fourth line because it's like you need to be better. The way that he was handled in LA. And listen, some of it's on him, but I think you need to have a coach who sets your mind right and gets you back to where you were. And I think that's what that organization with Spencer Carberry has done. I give him the Jack Adams in a wash. Not even close.
Dubois only got 4 goals, but 17 assists. Like, he doesn't need to carry the goal scoring burden for Washington.
No.
Strome, McMichael, Protas, Ovechkin, even though he's injured, and Wilson all have double-digit goal totals. And Chychrun, maybe by the time this is released, will have 10.
Wow.
Which is, I mean, maybe he should be in like the outer Norris conversation, because that's crazy.
It is crazy.
That's
Jesse.
crazy.
For me, the way this award works is there's a team that was further down in the standings last season than the Washington Capitals, and they are further up in the standings this year than the Washington Capitals. They didn't make the playoffs last year and only finished with 87 points. And on November 27th, 2023, the world changed, because that was the day Creed Bratton was let go of his job.
Oh,
Dean Evison was fired, and the Minnesota Wild brought in John Hines. And from there, they struggled all season long. They missed the playoffs, as I said, and with only 87 points, the Capitals made it. So I don't know how you can give Spencer Carberry the Jack Adams. And this season, they, to me, are the best team in the league, and I think they're going to finish at the top of the league. And that right there, that going from that position in the standings to the next one with essentially the same core of players, to me, is the definition of the Jack Adams. He's coached them to this next level with elite play from Kaprizov and their goaltending.
Can I give an honorable mention? Because I'm surprised none of us mentioned this person, but I thought about it. Sheldon Keefe.
Yes.
He
was my pick preseason to win the Jack Adams.
The Devils stunk, made a bunch of additions, yes, and now they don't stink.
It's great.
That's often how this award works.
I feel like he was going to be my second choice, but I feel like John Hines has less to work with from this offseason than Sheldon Keefe, who got everything from the Tom Fitzgerald to make this team good, this offseason. And John Hines didn't get as much.
Yeah.
People were like, oh, yeah, the Devils are going to be good now. I didn't really hear a ton of that with the Wild.
Right. Nobody said that. And look where they are. So that's my pick for the Jack.
I wonder where I put the Wild, because I've always liked their system, but I wonder where I put them in the season previews. I can't even remember.
They've been so milquetoast.
Yeah, they have.
Like a decade.
In the conversation-ish.
Yeah. They'll make the playoffs, I think. Yeah. All right. Vezina Trophy. Jesse, I want to start with you.
I got a theme here. What? What's wrong?
No, nothing. I just thought that was a great choice by Adam.
I just wonder what Jesse's going to
I got a theme here. Philip Gustafson.
Okay.
I don't know if you're following along, but the way he's played with Marc-Andre Fleury, who is in his elder years, Gustafson has to take the reins there. Fleury can't start all of these games. So Gustafson, I think, is going to backstop the best team in the league to very high up in the standings. And what he's doing with this team in front of him, who we've all admit isn't the most impressive roster.
No.
Yep.
I think he's currently third in the league amongst goalies who have started at least 5 starts. In save percentage, I think you reward that player because he's not a fraud like Connor Hellebuyck.
Oh, Steve, who's yours?
Eventually going to fall down the save percentage list.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
I disagree. I am going to go with, what's his name? Connor Hellebuyck.
Oh, that guy who's going to finish with a 919 save percentage?
Oh, yeah, because it's got to be under 920, right?
Well, Jesse, I tell you what, he better play every game for the rest of the season and be ass while he's doing it. Because he is currently 19-5-1. He has fewer losses than his backup goalie has games played. Which is stupid. He's a 926, which is notably above 920.
7 points to falter for the rest of the year. It's gonna happen.
The Jets are trending down in general
Because of strictly goaltending.
but he is the reason I think that trend will stop. He was a 921 the year before, 920 the year before that, and before that, it doesn't matter.
It might be Jesse's toughest take.
No,
It might be his toughest take.
Hey, it's not over yet.
Jesse,
I don't know. I know they call games at the second intermission. They say, "Oh no, it scores 3-2 at the end of the second intermission. Let's call the game."
He's gonna finish with a 9-19, and Jesse's gonna lose.
He's gonna have a party.
Oh
He's
my
gonna fire off
God!
confetti in here again.
Or I'm gonna throw a live show. The 9-19 Hellebuck's a fraud party.
The Hellebuck is over party.
Hellebuck could win the Vezina, and Jesse could still win his bet.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
Crazy.
I'm gonna say Connor Hellebuck as well. We've matched up a lot.
Yeah.
Connor Hellebuck because A, he's my favorite goaltender in the NHL. B, because he's awesome. C, because the Winnipeg Jets. He is there. Listen, if somebody is gonna win a Hart Trophy that isn't a forward, it's going to be Connor Hellebuck. And it should have been several times. And the Winnipeg Jets got out to an almost historic start this year. Not quite. The Leafs are still better. But I think it's pretty important to, this team was like 18-1-1 for a while there or whatever it was, right? Like they have a crazy record. I think Connor Hellebuck's play has been amazing. The fact that they got him at $7.5 million is amazing. Here's a guy that wants to stay in Winnipeg, wants to build something. They had ticket selling issues. They're bringing the people back. Like, man, Vezina Trophy, please, Connor Hellebuck, you deserve it. And remember, the Vezina is always like a reputational award too, because it's voted on by the GMs. And so you could have a goalie that does like a crazy job, but if they don't do it for 2 or 3 years, then they don't win the Vezina. Nobody has like the reason I didn't go with Philip Gustafson is because Philip Gustafson, he's been good, but this is his first year at the top. And NHL GMs don't watch other teams. They just don't.
They straight up don't.
And so they'll go with the guy that I know and I remember seeing him.
Who has the best record? That one.
Yeah, that's kind of how it is. I don't know how seriously they take it to be sometimes.
While we're here with who votes on trophies, I still don't understand why broadcasters vote on the Jack Adams, the award we just talked about.
I don't know.
Like
I think you got to involve them in something.
Do you?
The broadcasters don't. Maybe the journalists, broadcasters. I think maybe it was like they threw the journalists something, so they threw the TV and radio people something. The newspaper people got something.
It's a little odd.
I think they just want everybody to participate, but I agree.
I just don't know if they're the experts on who the best coach is. Why the guys in the booth?
The thing is that it's either that. Like, it's either we do it this way with these awards, or it's some shadowy political committee like the Grammys, where Robert.
No, you mean the Hockey Hall of Fame?
Robert Plant and Allison Cross win album of the year when it should have gone to like 50 Cent or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's just that is
thing.
That's a thing that happened.
Oh,
that was like some weird country album nobody listened to, and so. As much as I agree it's imperfect, I'll take this one. Thank you very much, if that makes sense. Right? And there's very little campaigning that goes on, right? Like behind the scenes in some of these award shows, Oscar committee, Grammy committee, they all have there's like presentations given to them. They're giving gifts. They're given, I don't want any of that.
The NHL has like award courting. Like you never get to the end of the year and you're like, oh, I didn't think that guy was getting nominated. Like there's campaigning that starts, and it starts very early.
Oh, you think so?
Oh yeah, like if you spring Zach Werenski on us in April or like in June rather, we're all gonna freak out. But so you got to give people some runway and be like, Zach Werenski's having a great season, and you go, what?
No way.
And you look into it and you're like, oh gosh darn it, he is. Like you can't just spring that on people,
right?
Kirill Kaprizov is better than Leon Draisaitl. What? I can't just spring that on people, and then you got to look into it, and
maybe he is.
I just think if you are designating the Professional Hockey Writers Association to vote on the most prestigious awards, like the Conn Smythe and the Hart Trophy, why not just give them the Jack Adams too? Why not give them the Vezina too? If they're in charge of the most important awards, why not these other awards as well? That's my opinion.